Hello, and welcome back to the Without the Bank podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. If you guys find these useful, go ahead, leave a comment, share that, whatever. So, if you are not new here, we talk about all things infinite banking, business, creating wealth, using money, all things. Today, we are going to talk about business. So if you want to hear something about infinite banking, this may not be your episode. But I'm also here to help you with business because I've been there. I've grown. And so many of you that are my clients and listeners are small business owners. And you all need help. And you all are driving me insane. So please stay tuned. Because today we are going to talk about hiring employees. Oh, let's just visit about how scary that is, because that is super, super scary. And so, you guys, all I do is have these conversations with you about all the things that I went through. Okay, I can't tell you anything more than where I've been and what I've learned from other people. And here's the thing. I talk about it all the time. I think school is an absolute waste of time for most people. There are some people that are going to be doctors, lawyers, fantastic. But if you are listening to me, you are probably a blue-collar worker because those are my people. Blue-collar workers do not like school. I did not like school. I found it to be an absolute waste of my time because I was learning things that were not applicable to what I was interested in. That simple. And so what did I have to do? In order to get where I'm at, I have had to go to coaching, and I have paid for business coaching. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for business coaching from who? People that make millions of dollars. Because I want to learn from people that make the money. I don't want to go to a school or a college, even though I have a college degree. I do not want to go to a college and learn from somebody that has never had a business. Okay? The people you are going to learn from are the people that have been successful. I have a friend, not a client. I have a friend who said the first $100,000 is hard to make. The first $1 million is hard to make. The first 10 million is hard to make. Anything in between that, we can easily make that. We can easily go from 100 to 1 million because we already knew how to make the 100 and then the 200 and the 300. And once we gain the knowledge of where we're at, it's easy to make more. Here is where I see so many people struggling and so many in the blue collar industry. Well, and I shouldn't even say blue collar, small business. Okay, let's just say so many in the small business arena. Hire a darn employee for the love of everything. Hire an employee. You are going to need somebody to most likely answer your phone. Keep track of your calendar. If you have a bakery, do they need to just check people out? Do you need people to just clean the store? Do you need people to maybe just do the dishes while you're doing your thing baking? If you are a plumber, an electrician, and you are in the trades, holy moly, hire somebody to do your billing. Hire somebody to answer your phone. Here is what I have found. When I was in the position where I needed to finally hire an employee, I could not do it. I thought, you know what? I don't have the money to do this. And I literally did not have the money. Okay. When I hired my first employee, I told her I have 3 months of pay. That's it. I have a lot of business coming in. I cannot keep up with it. I was forgetting about people that I had talked to, people that I had done applications on, people that wanted to start the process. I had forgot about them in the process because I'm trying to have meetings with new people. I'm trying to take care of the people that want to move forward. I'm trying to answer questions from existing clients. I'm trying to do social media. I'm trying to market. I'm trying to do all things. And I couldn't do it. And people were falling by the wayside. It was taking me longer to make money because I couldn't get the application through the process. Okay? Now, some of that is just all gibberish to you. Just ignore my process. But it was taking me longer to get paid because it was taking me longer to close a new client's case and get them started. And when I hired, and I had 3 months of income, or 3 months of payroll for somebody. That's it. That's all I had. And I had a large amount of debt. But I knew business was picking up. I knew that I needed to get things running smoother because I was working 24/7. If you have read Robert Kiyosaki's book and you have looked at the quadrants, are you an employee? Are you self-employed? Because if you're self-employed, you're nothing more than an employee, right? You should be able to take some time off. If you are the business owner, income should be coming in without you. No, even I'm not quite there yet because it's me. When you schedule an appointment, you get me. Okay, you're not getting anybody else. If you have questions after you're a client, you get me. That's just how it works in this office. And so, yes, it's still me or nothing. But I can take some time off if I need to because I have 2 assistants that are helping. Yes, 2. And here's the thing. I didn't have money for one when I started. And I was upfront with her. I said, I have 3 months. And I was very fortunate. She wasn't necessarily looking for a job. She didn't necessarily need the income. She was okay if she didn't have it. But she was willing to take the risk. Okay? I hired her. Guess what happened? My income did not double. It did not triple. It quadrupled. Because I was able to get stuff done faster. Here is what is happening with people in the small business world that I see. Electricians, plumbers, whatever. We are hiring an apprentice. We are hiring another electrician. We are hiring, people to do the work. But who are you not hiring? You are not hiring a bookkeeper. You are not hiring somebody to answer the phone. You are not hiring somebody to manage your day and your calendar. And let me tell you, I have yet to meet a contractor or a blue-collar worker that is organized. Okay? Why? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a man and I'm not organized, so I'm not going to blame it on the fact that you're a man because I am not an organized person. By nature, that is what my assistants do, is organize me. Most likely, they will look at my calendar and be like, hey, Mary Jo, you have 2 personal things on your calendar. Are you sure you didn't get those mixed up? And they're even questioning my personal life because I already know how I operate. But what happens is you guys are not hiring somebody to help you. Okay, let me just play this off. I am not a contractor. I hire a lot of contractors, though, because I have real estate. And so I call you, Mr. Contractor, and you are an HVAC guy. And I call you and you say, oh, yep, I can come out. I can look at that. Why don't you send me a text message so that I have your address, your information, and all that good stuff? And so this just happened to me. And it happens all the time, but it just happened again. And so I say, okay, I'll send you that text message. And I sent them the text message because now I'm playing secretary for them. Yes, I am playing secretary. You did not want to hire a secretary, so you passed it off to me as the client. Now, guess what? Typically, when I am asked to text somebody my name and address, I do not because I am irritated. I am not your secretary. Hire one. However, in this case, I texted them because I have done business with them before and I know they're very good at what they do. So I text the HVAC guy. I don't hear back from him for weeks. And he's very prompt typically. And I thought, well, I don't need anything like super quick, so I'm not going to hound him. So I finally text him back and say, hey, did you forget about me? And he did not admit that, but he did, because guess what? He was there the same day to look at what I needed to look at. So obviously when I called him, he was busy. Why are you answering your phone? If you are the guy working on stuff, why are you answering your phone? Why don't you have an assistant to do that? Who then can say, you know what, I will send him out on this day at this time to come look at stuff. Because Mr. HVAC guy, you should have your calendar blocked that says Mondays are estimates and Fridays are estimates, right? If you get an emergency call, because that happens with electricians and HVAC guys, I mean, it happens in the construction world, right? You get an emergency call, then you can reschedule. But not every day are we getting emergency calls. Set your calendar so that you are doing estimates at certain times. It is the same thing if you want to have an appointment with me. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That is when I see new clients. You will never, if you are a prospective client, you will never be able to have a meeting with me on Mondays or Fridays, because Mondays and Fridays is days for me to handle my existing clients. It's days for me to handle people that I've already talked to. It is time for me to make sure that I can organize myself and I can do paperwork and I can talk to companies and I can do all things to work on my business, right? And so, or not work in my business, not on my business. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is me with clients working on my business. And so, or however that saying goes, whatever that is. And you guys know what I mean. So you want to make sure that you are hiring somebody. Is it an expense? Here's another thing. So many people say, well, it's expensive. Is it expensive? I quadrupled my income. That assistant paid for herself. She paid for, I didn't have to find the money to pay for her. She paid for herself because she did the job. She did a mediocre job, and I now have a new assistant who is absolutely making me money because she is amazing. Amazing. And then I have a second assistant because guess what? I was running the first assistant into craziness. She could just handle it. She's one of those people that says, yep, I'll do it. And she just takes it all on and she actually gets it done, but she doesn't tell you she's stressing. And so I then have to pay attention to her to see that she's not stressing, right? But you have to have, and I'm not the best communicator. Here's another little tip. I had a business coach and I paid big money for this, people. So pay attention. This is all free for you. I had a business coach that one time said, who's good at delegating work? And I raised my hand very, very quickly because I love to forward emails and say, answer this, because there's a lot of things that I do not like to do that require paperwork. Okay. So I forwarded on to my assistant. And he said to me, Mary Jo, are you good at delegating or are you good at dumping? And I'm like, oh, I'm a dumper. I like to just give you the work and not tell you anything about it. And so I recently just had an electrician out to do some electrical work, and he did work on our personal place and our rental. And when his billing lady called me, she said, can I get your mailing address? Because they didn't tell us that. You did not tell your billing lady the billing address. If you are paying her by hour, she now had to call me and I had to call her back to tell her the billing address, and you guys were at my place. That is not good communication. And I'm not going to sit here and beat you up because I suck at it and my girls have to ask me. But if you're an electrician, your bill always has to get sent to a billing address. So when you go to the job site, fill out the work order, fill that information in, make it easier for your billing lady. Because then she doesn't have to call me and ask me for the billing address. And then you kind of look a little bit foolish because you were here. And I think, well, if you can't even tell her the billing address because you don't know where you were, or your guys don't know where they were, did you do good work? Right? We all make mistakes. I get it. But I said to her, oh, contractors. And she's like, oh, almost every job is like this, right? And that we just write it off as contractors. No different than we write off attorneys. Oh, yeah, they didn't get back to us for 3 weeks. It's just an attorney. It's ridiculous is what it is. You want to charge me hundreds of dollars an hour and you take 2 weeks to get back to me? No. No. That is not how that works. If you are a small business owner, think about what that is doing to you to not have an assistant. Even if you just have to have a part-time assistant, there are virtual assistants all over this country. You do not have to leave the United States to find one. Okay? I will never have an assistant that does not speak good English. I have just been told that I know somebody that has a friend who is looking to be a virtual assistant, speaks fluent Spanish because she's from Mexico, and fluent English. Fantastic. But there is nothing more frustrating than people that go to other countries to get VAs, virtual assistants, and then I can't understand them. And there's a huge communication gap. Okay, I don't care if you go there. Just make sure that we can talk to them. Get yourself an assistant. Why should I call the dentist's office and they have an assistant to schedule me? But you, as the plumber, the electrician, the welder, maybe you have a septic cleaning system. Why don't you have an assistant? Why don't you have a billing department? Why is your billing out 3 months? That is absolutely crazy. If you aren't billing, that means you're not meant to do that job. And if somebody else can't do the billing, it means your system needs to be fixed. Because you should be able to tell somebody how to bill for you. Do not think of this as an expense. This is an absolute necessity. How many mistakes, how much cleaning up are you doing because you are unorganized? You are skilled, but skilled in paperwork and skilled in a job does not mean the same thing. I don't care if it's a bakery. I don't care if you have a boutique. I don't care what it is. At some point, you are going to need an assistant. And that point is when you are working 24/7 and you're stuck. And you can't go forward any further. I hit a wall, people. I could only do so much. And I hit this wall. And if I was too scared to hire somebody, I would still be at that wall making $100,000 a year. If that. If you are stuck in making the same amount of money and you can't grow and you can't do more jobs, why is that? Is it because you don't have somebody doing the day-to-day stuff and you want to work in the business? You want to actually be hands-on, doing the baking, doing the welding, doing the HVAC, doing the building, doing the excavating, whatever it is. Figure out what you love to do. And I talked about this in the 6 personality types, the working genius, right? I talked about this. I've talked about this in the Kolbe score. All of these things help us understand what we love to do. And then we know what we hate to do. And I know I hate doing paperwork. Absolutely hate it. If you ask me to do something that requires paperwork, it's going to take a while for me to get it done unless my assistants stay on my behind about it, which they do. Mary Jo, did you do that? Mary Jo, did you do that? Right? I'm terrible at taking notes. I'm terrible at organizing. So I have to have somebody there that can kind of micromanage me in those aspects. Typically, as an entrepreneur, we are big thinkers. We are not micro. We do not get into the dirty of it all. But here's another thing. Don't go hire somebody, give them everything, and never look at it again. Because it's either going to be wrong or they're going to be stealing from you. You don't get to hire somebody and then just hand it off. You get to hire somebody, delegate it, and then you have to check up on it, right? And when you're doing that, if you can trust them, great, you just let them go. But if you never know what's going on with people. And I have heard way too many stories of people being taken because they just let that person take over. And we don't want to necessarily do that either. Pay attention to what's happening. But at the end of the day, somebody needs to answer the phone. Somebody needs to do billing. Somebody needs to organize your calendar and say, hey, you went and did that job. I didn't get the bill for that job yet. Okay? Builders and contractors are typically the most unorganized people. And they want to be hands-on, not sitting in an office doing stuff. And why are you, I had a roofer one time answer his phone with him on the roof. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the roof. Can you text me your information? Heck no, I'm not texting you the information. Get off the roof or don't answer the phone. Pay for an assistant for the love of Pete. Yes, you're going to have to train the assistant. Absolutely. But once you have her trained, if you treat her good, she'll stick around and you don't have to answer the phone on the roof anymore and you can get that job done faster. But you just lost my business because I had to text you and play assistant for you. No, my friends, that is not how that works. Go get yourself an assistant so you can increase income. You can create a bigger business. You can do all things. And here's another thing. Before I end this, because it's getting a little bit long, but before I end this, if, Mr. Husband, you have a construction company, and then you say, oh, dear wife, would you please do the books? And if your wife does not like doing the books, and she's not getting them done, or you are arguing, or better yet, you're not listening to her when she says, no, you can't buy that because we don't have the money for it, go pay somebody that you are not married to do your books and your billing. Maybe even answer your phone. Okay? If you can't work together nicely, then no. Just because she's your wife does not automatically mean she does the job. If she does not like to do the job, why is she doing the job? Because she's not going to be good at it. She's not going to be happy. I see this all the time in both business and farming. Oh, well, my wife can do that. Maybe she can, just like you can, but does she want to? Is it where she is going to excel? If it's not, then why have her do it? Oh, because she's cheap? Because she's free? Guess what? You better pay her. Because if you're not paying her, how do you know you can pay somebody else if she gets hit by a truck tomorrow or she says, I quit, I'm throwing in the towel because I'm sick and tired of fighting with you. I'm sick and tired of sitting behind this desk. I don't want to do this. I have a house to clean. I have kids to take care of. I have a family to run. And now I'm supposed to do your books for you. If you can't pay her, how are you going to pay anybody else? That is no different than you just saying, you know what, we can't afford it. And then when more money comes in, do you actually pay her? If she does do it, do you actually pay her? Are you being an honest business owner? Or are you just still being cheap? Run it like a business. If she's going to do it, put her on payroll. But it doesn't obligatory. She does not just have to do it. That was a hard word for me to say. It is not her obligation to do it because she is married to you. It is not her obligation. That is not what she said in her vows. I will do your bookkeeping for the rest of our lives. That was not part of the vows. I mean, unless you guys decided to write your own vows, but that is not part of the vows. That does not automatically make her do book work, just like it automatically maybe doesn't make you cook or change diapers or whatever it is that you're doing, right? In our house, we have roles. My husband does not cook. He is not good at it. I am not going to say, oh, well, we're married, so now you have to. No, we would go out to eat because it's not what he does. Okay? Just like he doesn't clean a lot because his cleaning is not up to my expectations. And so we have roles here. But think about this. Seriously think about this. And don't tell me it's too hard to find anybody, because it's not. Look, harder. Look, you might have to pay them more than you want to pay them. I paid my person about $4 or $5 more per hour because she was knowledgeable in infinite banking. She had the skills. If you find somebody, you pay them because they will pay for themselves if they are good. If they are not, you're going to have to let them go. But always remember, they're only as good as what you've taught them to be. Some of that lays on you as well. Do some delegating. Don't dump like me. I try very hard to delegate, and I'm still sucky at it. I'm still not the greatest communicator. I think that everybody can just read my mind. And thank goodness I have amazing, amazing staff, and they laugh at me and they're like, ugh. They're just really good at asking questions because they know I'm just really bad at giving orders because I'm always in a hurry. And so it's something that I try very hard to work on. Will I ever be perfect at it? No. Do I know that I annoy the crap out of them? Yes. Do they know that they may annoy the crap out of me with all their questions? Yes. But we laugh about it because we understand the personality differences. But there's no way that I could make the money that I'm making if it was not for having the help that I have. All right, you guys, that's it. I hope that has put a switch in your brain. It's going to take some time to train somebody. It takes about a year for me to train somebody to get them to really be somewhat efficient. It takes about 2 years or a year and a half for them to really be efficient. But I have a new assistant right now. She'll be with me a year in February, and she is still very much in the learning stages. Really depends on, she had 0 experience coming in. So it's taken longer to train her. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. Because between myself and my assistant, we can take the time to do that because she has a great personality. She is so sweet. She is so helpful. She is so willing to work. I am okay training because I much would prefer hiring for personality than hiring for experience. Okay, I don't need drama in my office. I want them to work. I want my customers and my clients to be overly helped when they call and when they need something, and for it to get done immediately. And that is exactly how she is. And I love it. She wants to build relationships. That's fantastic. It meets our personal goals here. I can teach somebody anything, but I can't teach you how to be a good human. Okay, I hope that helped. Please, if you are a small business owner and you are to the point where you are struggling and you just don't know, please go get help. And if you have help that's family, please pay them. Because why should they work for free? That doesn't make any sense. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. If you have not read the book Life Without the Bank, none of this is in there. But go get the book, Life Without the Bank. and understand how to run your business without the bank, how to understand how to retire without the bank and without 401ks and IRAs and all that good stuff. And if you need me, you know where I'm at. Email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. And we'll talk in our next podcast. Have a good one.